You probably haven't heard this, but across America lie towns that didn't just die, they were swallowed. Some collapsed under their own economy, some were erased by nature, and a few vanished for reasons people still refuse to say aloud. From the coal fires burning beneath Pennsylvania to the mist-drowned cliffs of Alaska, the United States hides wounds no official map wants to admit exist. Tonight we're stepping straight into those forgotten scars, the 10 eeriest abandoned towns in America, where the nightmares people whisper about aren't myths, they're leftovers of reality. Number 10, Stull, Kansas. At a distance, Stull looks like the kind of quiet farmland scene you'd find on an old postcard, golden Kansas grass, wind pushing through wheat fields, a tiny graveyard beside the skeleton of an old church. Nothing loud, nothing dramatic, just stillness. But in the 1970s, everything changed with a single college prank. A student paper ran a playful Halloween piece claiming Stull Cemetery was one of the gates of hell. It was supposed to be a joke, but people didn't treat it like one. The rumor snowballed. Visitors swore they felt cold spots, saw flickers of light, or heard someone whisper their names. By the 90s, Halloween night turned into such chaos that police had to shut the entire area down. To this day, officers guard the road every October 31st. No documented ghost, no mysterious deaths, just a rumor powerful enough to turn a peaceful prairie into a haunted landmark. The creepiest part isn't the myths. It's the silence. The iron gate trembles even without wind. Graves slump like they're tired. You breathe louder than the world around you. And it feels like the place is hearing every inhale. Stull's real tragedy? A joke became a curse. The internet turned a sleepy farming town into a viral horror trope. Families who simply wanted peace now deal with trespassers, thrill seekers, and influencers chasing content. Before asking, is it really haunted? Ask something else. Is a blurry selfie worth a criminal charge and disturbing a cemetery? Number 9, Dudleytown, Connecticut. New England in autumn looks like a painting brought to life. Red leaves, crisp air, golden light dripping through the branches. Hidden inside those woods once stood a tiny settlement called Dudleytown. You won't find it on modern maps. It's been erased. What remains is a forest so dense that daylight feels swallowed. Locals call it the Dark Entry, and its reputation follows one word: cursed. The legend claims the Dudley family brought misfortune from England. Centuries ago, stories of treason, disease, madness, disappearances. Whether true or not, every tale points to the same thing. The place simply feels wrong. People who sneak inside talk about the same experience. A dead stillness. No birds, no rustling. Just this heavy, damp air that makes every footstep sound too loud. But unlike most ghost towns, Dudleytown is not abandoned. It's private land. The owners got tired of vandals and self-styled ghost hunters, so the entire area was closed off. Patrols now guard the entrances. Trespassers get cited quickly. Ironically, the more forbidden the forest became, the bigger the legends grew. Dudleytown is a lesson in boundaries. Curiosity doesn't erase property lines. History doesn't belong to thrill seekers, and myths spread faster than facts ever could. The curse isn't supernatural. It's the way people ignore respect in the name of adventure. Number 8, Helltown, Ohio. Despite the name, Helltown sits in one of the prettiest valleys in Ohio. Rolling hills, fiery fall colors, and deer wandering through what is now Cuyahoga Valley National Park. But that same beauty hides a brutal history. In the 1970s, the U.S. government forced hundreds of families out using eminent domain. People were given weeks, sometimes days, to leave. Streets emptied overnight. Homes stood abandoned, windows shattered, dreams evaporated, and where there's emptiness, rumors eventually move in. People claimed toxic chemicals were buried nearby. Others whispered about cults in the woods. Teenagers swore an old school bus was haunted. Drivers insisted a woman cried near the old bridge. Every road closed sign seemed like a clue. Every demolished house felt like a cover-up. But the truth was just sad. The government planned a park, then ran out of money, so the valley sat in limbo, silent, broken, forgotten. Walk there now and you'll feel the weight of that silence. Not evil, just abandonment. A ghost story born not from spirits but from bureaucracy. Helltown isn't cursed. It's grieving. And that emptiness? It's louder than any monster story ever told. Number 7, Rhyolite, Nevada. When the Nevada sun pours molten light across the desert, the ruins of Rhyolite shimmer like golden dust scattered across a forgotten world. From afar, the town looks unreal. half mirage, half memory. But behind this quiet glow lies a story that proves some dreams don't fade. They devour. In 1904, when gold veins were discovered here, crowds flooded the valley overnight. Tents turned into buildings, shops opened, banks rose, newspapers printed, and people claimed this was the future city of the West. But the brighter the gold shines, the harsher its collapse. The financial panic of 1907 wiped everything out. Mines dried up, investors vanished, and rhyolite died slowly like a candle struggling for its last breath. Now only stones, dust, and a crushing silence remain, a silence that settles deep in your chest. The most chilling sight is the old three-story bank. Its walls still stand strong, but its empty window frames stare outward like the hollow eyes of a frightened giant. And when the wind moves through those windows, it carries a whisper, a soft, broken voice calling from nowhere. Rhyolite isn't haunted by ghosts, it's haunted by greed. Every crumbling brick reminds you, dreams aren't made of gold, they're made of wisdom. Number 6, Bannack, Montana. Wrapped in Montana's icy winds, Bannack feels like a place where someone pressed pause on time itself. The wooden sidewalks still creak with every gust, and the abandoned Mead Hotel watches the valley through its empty windows like a sentinel frozen in history. It's so still you expect a door to open any second, as if the town is waiting for someone who never arrived. Gold was discovered here in 1862, and within a year, Bannack had transformed into a booming town. Thousands flocked in, stores opened, a church rose, a courthouse followed, and Bannack became the first capital of Montana. But once the gold was gone, so was the fortune. Today, Bannack feels like a piece of history trapped behind glass. Dust dances in the schoolhouse. Light breaks through cracked windows, and the wind moves like a forgotten story, drifting through the corridors. Locals whisper about a little girl in a blue dress who wanders the mead. Hotel stairs at night. Faint footsteps, soft humming, always just out of sight. History doesn't confirm her existence, but Bannack's silence makes anything feel possible. This town isn't frightening because of what happened. It's frightening because nothing happens anymore. Time has stopped breathing. Number 5, Body, California. Stepping into Body feels like walking onto a movie set just after the cameras stopped rolling. Homes stand tall yet lifeless. The general store still holds dusty cans and packages that no one has touched for decades. This is a town preserved in arrested decay. Not restored, not left to rot. Simply held in place like a memory refusing to fade. Founded in 1859, Body was once a brutal gold town. Saloons roaring, gunfights echoing, chaos ruling the streets. Nights were never truly dark here. Then came the Great Fire of 1932. The town burned, the people fled, and Body became a ghost wrapped in autumn shadows. But the real terror began after the fire. The Body curse. Visitors who stole even small objects, a nail, a bottle, a stone, reported disasters in their lives. Rangers have received hundreds of apology letters. I took a rock, and everything went wrong. Please take it back. It isn't a curse. It's a warning. History is not an object. It's a responsibility. And Body whispers the same message to every soul who enters. The good times are gone. Do not disturb what remains. Number 4, Point Pleasant, West Virginia. This quiet riverside town might have remained ordinary forever, until one winter evening in 1967 changed everything. The collapse of the Silver Bridge took 46 lives, leaving a wound on Point Pleasant that has never fully healed. But what made the tragedy legendary was what people saw before it happened. A dark figure with giant wings, red glowing eyes, silent watcher above the river. They called it the Mothman. After the bridge disaster, the creature vanished forever. The fear here isn't about monsters. It's about the unsettling truth that disaster often whispers its arrival, and humans shrug it off as imagination. Point Pleasant turned its pain into lore. Festivals, museums, statues, books. But the river still holds a sorrow you can almost feel in the air. To the world, it's an urban legend. To the townspeople, it's a memory, and memories cut deeper than ghosts. Number 3, Lake Shawnee Amusement Park, West Virginia. Rusty swings, rattling chains, a Ferris wheel that still sways in the slightest breeze. Lake Shawnee looks like a set from an abandoned horror film, but the ground beneath this amusement park hides a darker truth. It was built over an ancient burial ground. In the 1920s, coal miners brought their families here for entertainment. unaware that children's graves lay deep beneath the soil. Then the tragedies began, a child lost in the lake, another killed under a swing. One accident after another until the park finally shut down. Years later, when workers tried to reopen it, digging exposed human bones. This land wasn't an amusement park. It was a wound, and it still is. People passing by at night claim they hear children laughing, swings moving by themselves, and the metallic scent of old machinery in the air. Lake Shawnee stands as a reminder. When the past is disrespected, it returns as a shadow. Number 2, Shadow Creek Settlement. Deep inside Missouri's tangled forest lies a place you won't find on any map. Shadow Creek Settlement. Back in the late 1800s, it was a quiet riverside community, until a mysterious fire erased it overnight. Now all that remains are scorched chimneys, collapsed frames, drifting ash, and a silence so heavy it feels alive, while locals are terrified of it. At night, strange whistling sounds echo along the riverbank. Thin ribbons of smoke rise into the air, even though nothing is burning. Hunters claim they've seen the silhouette of a woman moving between the trees, walking toward the water. But she makes no sound, not even footsteps. The incident that changed everything. One night in 1889, the entire village was asleep when a fire erupted in the town center. But it didn't spread like a normal fire. People described it as glowing lines of light crawling across the ground, as if someone drew shapes with burning fingers. Only one child survived, barely conscious. The only words he spoke were, "It wasn't fire, it was the glowing people." No one has ever understood what he meant. On what still happens at Shadow Creek today, GPS shuts off abruptly. Every sound becomes unnaturally loud, like whispers right beside your ear. Some visitors swear they've seen hands rising from the water, pushing the surface upward. Number 1, Black Hollow Ridge. Black Hollow Ridge isn't just Missouri's most terrifying location. It's one of the least documented but most feared places in the entire United States. People hike up the ridge. Not everyone comes back. The mountain's unnatural glow. At night, the ridge lights up from the inside, a pulsating glow, as if something beneath the ground has a heartbeat. Scientists dismiss it as bioluminescent minerals, but that explanation falls apart when you see what happens next. The moving lights that follow you. Tiny orb-like lights drift across the mountaintop. They float steadily. They never flicker. No person is holding them. And worst of all, they move toward you. Anyone who tries to follow these lights is never seen the next morning. The event that made this place number 1, in 2014, 3 YouTubers camped overnight to film the ridge. Their final footage showed the camera lying sideways, panicked running, every light suddenly going out, and a final whispered sentence. "It's not a light. It's looking at us." Their tent was found. Their bags were found. Their clothes were found. They were not. A mountain that breathes. Visitors say that at night, the air becomes so heavy it feels like the atmosphere is tightening around you. Some swear the ground subtly rises and falls, as if the entire ridge is breathing in its sleep. Black Hollow Ridge doesn't feel like a place. It feels like a being awake, watching, and hungry. And so, as our journey through Missouri's forgotten nightmares comes to an end, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. Some places aren't abandoned because people left. They're abandoned because something stayed. Shadow Creek Settlement. A town swallowed by fire that had no flame. Black Hollow Ridge. A mountain where light isn't just seen, it sees you back. These locations are not just dots on a map. They are echoes. Reminders that the world still holds corners untouched by logic, unreachable by science, and unbroken by time. Every forest has a silence that wasn't meant to be heard. Every empty house has a story that refuses to die. Every flicker of light in the darkness might not be a reflection. It might be something watching. And if there is one thing we've learned tonight, it's this. Curiosity is a doorway, but once you walk through it, you don't always get to walk back out. So if you ever find yourself near the dark rivers of Missouri, or standing at the base of a glowing ridge that pulses like a living heart, remember the voices, the shadows, the footsteps that never belonged to you. Remember the names of the lost. Remember the lights that follow, and the silence that calls. Because some mysteries don't want to be solved. They want to keep you. This is where our exploration ends. But the wilderness is still out there, breathing, waiting, watching. Until next time, stay curious, Stay brave, and whatever you do, don't follow the lights.